Hey everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com, coming and making a video for you today. This is going to be a response to a video that someone else did about me. A few weeks ago, I started getting emails in my inbox and comments from people, who were referring to me as an anti-Semite, or referring to other people who had called me an anti-Semite, and I'm like, what? And it was about a video response from a video I did. Jason Babies, or Spiritual Babies, whatever his name is, and Jono Vandor did a video replying to one of my videos. And in that video, they called me a rampant anti-Semite. And this was all based on the response of a video I did on human sacrifice and Torah. Because there are the counter missionaries out there who are saying that there's no way human sacrifice or human atonement is allowed in the Torah. And I absolutely disagree. And I give verse by verse, example after example in the Torah and the prophets of human atonement. Okay, and the word atonement being used, the same word being used for human atonement as all the other sacrifices that you'll find, like Leviticus 1 through 7, chapters 1 through 7. So same word, okay? And so I did that, and then I ended the video with Isaiah 53 and the example there, and that's what really set him off, because really, I mean, it was a great use of that chapter in showing human atonement, human sacrifice for the sacrifice of one for others. And I had one lady email me, and she said, "Zach, don't worry about them calling you an anti-Semite. Your use of Isaiah 53 nails it out of the park, hits it out of the park," she says. And I was like, "Thanks, I appreciate that." But then it dawned on me, I don't know if Jono, from Australia, and Jason Babies, who is, I think, from UK, they don't even know what that means. Hits it out of the park. They have no idea the reference. Let me show you what that looks like.
That ought to take you to a dinner or two. Swing, and there it is. Look at this baby. Into the upper deck. Off the facade up there. Number 17. Wasn't any doubt about this one going to the yellow line. Woo! The kid tried to sneak a fastball by him, and as the guy said, that's like trying to sneak the sun by the rooster.
that's like sneaking the sun by the rooster. Just a little farm joke there. I mean, that was good. It's absolutely right. Trying to sneak the sun by the rooster. So, yeah. It totally is. And so that's what people have been trying to do with this whole Isaiah 53 reference and this human atonement thing. They're trying to tell people out there, and people are buying into it, that there is no human sacrifice, there is no human atonement, it's not possible in Torah. So don't think that our Messiah, Yeshua, having died, sacrificed himself for anybody, because that's not allowed in Torah. And I go through in that video and I show case after case, and and then at the end I provide Isaiah 53, and yeah, it nails it out of the park. You didn't sneak the sun by the rooster. So the whole response to that video was them saying Isaiah 53. Oh, how dare he use Isaiah 53? That's anti-Semitic. You can't do that. And I did, but I'm not anti-Semitic. Here's the claim they make. They basically go to Tovia Singer's book. This guy is so disingenuous. It's unbelievable. Take a look at this. They show this portion of the book, and the part that's underlined there, it says, "This remarkable claim that the Jews expunged Isaiah 53 from the Haftorah is probably the most anti-Semitic argument used by missionaries." Because in my video, I make the claim that Jews don't talk about Isaiah 53. They ignore that. So might as well just rip it out of your Bible, because they don't talk about it. Because when you start examining and studying Isaiah 53 in the context of our Messiah and the coming Messiah, the coming King, well, there's little doubt left. And they say that's anti-Semitic. This remarkable claim that the Jews expunged Isaiah 53 from the Haftorah is probably the most anti-Semitic argument used by missionaries. And he goes on to say, this is a Christian, doctrine. This is, by Christians, developed in the Middle Ages, and it's anti-Semitic. How dare you? Newsflash there, guys, and Mr. Singer. I have never heard this from a Christian. This is not Christian doctrine. I have heard this over and over again, that Jews keep Isaiah 53 from other Jews, from the Haftorah. I've only heard that from Jews. That's not Christian. That's not Christian doctrine. Every time I have heard this, it's come from a Jew. I mean, I have never heard this come from a Christian, doctrine ministry as a method. It's always come from Jews, even from Talmudist Jews. Not let alone maybe Jews who were raised complete Orthodox or ultra-Orthodox and then switched to Christianity because they discovered this on their own. I have never heard this come from a Christian ministry. Let me give you some examples. Keep in mind what Tovia Singer is teaching and these other guys are teaching is that it's anti-Semitic Christian doctrine to use Isaiah 53 to turn Jews away from Judaism. Let's say that again. It's anti-Semitic Christian doctrine to use Isaiah 53 to turn Jews away from Judaism. That's what they're saying. That's completely wrong. Let's take a look at this. This is a book from Dr. Mitch Glaser. It's called Isaiah 53 Explained. And I got this book a long time ago. A Jew had sent it to me. This is a person who was raised Orthodox Jew from Brooklyn, New York, okay? Hubbub of Jewish activity in New York. And he states in his book, let's read it, many Jewish people, even those who are religious, are unfamiliar with Isaiah chapter 53 because Isaiah 53 is not included in the weekly Haftorah portions read in the synagogue. I would not suggest that omitting this chapter from the weekly Haftorah portion was an intentional act of conspiracy, yet it is somewhat mysterious as to why the cyclical synagogue readings go from Isaiah chapter 52 to 54, and we are all free to make up our own minds about the reason why our sages chose to skip over the 53rd chapter. This is from an Orthodox, he was raised Orthodox Jew. Okay? He's saying that all his time being raised as an Orthodox Jew, he never heard about this Haftorah portion read in the synagogue. It was skipped. This is what a Jew is saying. He was raised an Orthodox Jew. Let's take a look at this one. This is Rockmiel Friedland. Rockmiel Friedland, who was also raised an Orthodox Jew. He says, the subject was never discussed in my pre-war Poland Hebrew school. In the rabbinical training that I had received, the 53rd chapter of the book of Isaiah had been continually avoided in favor of other weightier matters to be learned. Continually avoided. This is not a Christian ministry. This is not some guy who was, raised in the Catholic Church, talking about these diabolical Jews as Tovia likes to make you think that Christian portrays the Jews. No, this is from a guy who was raised as a Jew in pre-war Poland, pre-World War II. Orthodox. He says continually avoided in favor of other weightier matters. We don't need to talk about that. Let's just keep going. Right? I'm not finished yet. Let's keep going. This is my favorite. Dr. Hananel Mack. Hananel Mack is a professor of Talmud at Bar Ilan University. Bar Ilan University, from Dr. Hananel Mack, professor of Talmud, he says another crucial passage in Christian doctrine is the text that opens with, "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently," Isaiah 52:13, which depicts the servant who personally suffers for the sins of humanity and whose greatness and stature are eventually recognized by all. This chapter, as well, is not read in any synagogue. Because where does Isaiah 53 start? The context starts in Isaiah 52:13. It carries over. It's one big section. And he says this chapter, as well, is not read in any synagogue. He's talking about Isaiah 53. It's amazing. See, I searched. I'm like, where is the doctrine? Where is the strategy of using, Isaiah 53 to show that the Jews are diabolical? No, guys, this is coming from Jews. And not even Jews who have turned to Christianity. These are still practicing Talmudist Jews who practice Judaism. And they're like, hey, Isaiah 53 isn't talked about. We don't talk about that. It's not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic. Guys, if you've watched my channel, I am two house. I am all about two house. The two sticks becoming one. House of Israel and the house of Judah coming together to be one in the Father's hand. I'm not anti-Semitic. And to suggest that the Jews ignore Isaiah 53 as anti-Semitic, or one of the most anti-Semitic strategies by Christian doctrine or Christian missionaries, is absolutely ridiculous when everything I've ever heard, when it comes to Isaiah 53 being avoided, comes from not Christians, but Jews. It's complete insanity. Well, see, that's the thing. That's the danger of reading someone like Tovia Singer, because he tries to steer your mind that way to think, hey, this is all just a bunch of Christian nonsense. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. These are Jews who were reading their Bible and bloop, the light bulb went on. So in that video, they said that Isaiah 53 is not mentioned really in the New Testament. I mean, yeah, there's this obscure verse in the book of Acts, where it may refer to Isaiah 53, but it's not mentioned anywhere. If this was so important, why wouldn't it be mentioned anywhere else in the New Testament? There's lots of places in it. Let's begin. Isaiah 53 is quoted in John chapter 12, verse 38. But although he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him, that the word of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spoke. Lord, who has believed our report? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? I don't know about you, but that kind of sounds like Isaiah 53 to me. Go back and read it. Let's take a look at Romans 10:16. But they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our report? Kind of sounds like Isaiah 53 to me. Verse 1, Isaiah 53. That's not anywhere in the New Testament. Okay, we're not done yet. Matthew 8:17. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, he himself took our infirmities and bore our sicknesses. Kind of sounds like Isaiah 53 to me. But no, that's not mentioned anywhere in the New Testament. It's ridiculous, these arguments. And I'm telling you, the reason I did that whole sacrifice and atonement video in the first place is because there are so many people buying into Tovia Singer's crap. It's just garbage. It's just lies. I'm not done yet. Let's go back to the same screenshot that old Jono and Jason Baby put up in their video that mentioned Tovia Singer's book. And the verse before, in the paragraph before, it says this, I have it underlined here, it says, it says, long before the Jewish people could have an inkling that a heretical sect would emerge that would misinterpret this extraordinary chapter. Well, what's that referring to? That misinterpret this extraordinary chapter? Because, see, these people believe that Isaiah 53 talks about a nation who suffers for the iniquities of us all. See, they misinterpret that whole thing as a nation, a people. But see, the majority of Judaism, throughout the history of rabbinical Judaism, holds that Isaiah 53 is about the Messiah. I found example after example after example. I've got 24 examples. I'm going to link in the description of this video. 24 examples that show that the common thread, the common belief of Isaiah 53 has always been about a coming Messiah, a coming King Messiah. It's a man. It says in the verse, in the chapter, man, esh, the Hebrew word esh. It doesn't say nation or people. It says esh, a man. A man will come. He was bruised for your iniquities, for our iniquities. Hear my guineas out there. See, they're yelling too. They're like, what is this nonsense? It's ridiculous. And he's out there telling people this has been misinterpreted. Because it's a nation. It's a nation that has suffered. No, it's a man who has suffered. Let's take a look at some of this. 24 prominent rabbis, I have 24 listed, 24 prominent rabbis writing from the 1st century CE through the 20th century CE are quoted chronologically in the passages that follow. These are not selected aberrations, but clearly represent the traditional Jewish view throughout the centuries, as Rabbi Moshe El-Sheikh, number 20, below, wrote in the latter half of the 16th century. He says, our rabbis of blessed memory with one voice accept and affirm the opinion that the prophet is speaking of the King Messiah, not a nation, the King Messiah, and we shall ourselves also adhere to the same view. Rabbi Tovia Singer doesn't uphold that view. Jono doesn't hold that view. Jason Babies doesn't hold that view. So what's the dealio? Here we have this guy and all bunch of rabbis he lists hold to the view that Isaiah, the prophet, is talking about the coming King Messiah. And that we should all adhere to this view. Because this is what it's talking about. Because they can read. They're not trying to play linguistical gymnastics and say it's a nation when the Hebrew is clear and says man. Man, nation. What do you do with that? Well, you read it for what it is. It's a man. That's just the way it is. So, and that's the thing, they'll say, well, you're not reading it right. You're misinterpreting it. In the English it says, but he was bruised for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. When actuality in the Hebrew it says, but he was wounded from our transgressions. He was bruised as a result of our iniquities. How does that change anything? It doesn't. It changes nothing. It's the same meaning. Thus, why all these rabbis in the past have held that this is a man. It's a coming Messiah. It's a coming king. And you have a few people out there who are saying it's not. Because the king's already been here. He was the suffering servant. It's obvious when you look at it. And that's why you have these Jews who have been reading Isaiah 53, something that they found their whole life was ignored, and going, maybe something's different here. I think the evidence is overwhelming. Isaiah 53, when you look at that, it hits it out of the park. It really does. And so rampant anti-Semite to be using this, number one, it wasn't used by Christians. Okay, it was this is something an argument come out by Jews, even still practicing Jews in Judaism today. They recognize the fact that Isaiah 53 is passed over and not taught in most yeshivas and teaching institutions within Judaism. Okay, even though the majority belief of rabbis throughout the centuries has held that this is about a man, a coming king. So yeah, it's knocking it out of the park. I knocked it out of the park with using Isaiah 53 to show human atonement and human sacrifice in the last video. I'm knocking it out of the park on this one when it comes to this is the widely held view. Isaiah 53 by rabbis. And that Tovia and these guys are lying to you saying that it's not. They're saying it's not. I just showed you the proof, and I'm just showing you it is. All the links, all of this stuff is going to be down below in the description. All the 24 examples that I have found will be linked in the description. I'll paste the entire thing in the description. You can read it whatever you want, and I'll put the links of where I found it all in there too. So no one can say I'm trying to pull one over on you. Let me go back real quick. I like how Dr. Hananel Mack puts this. Eventually recognized by all. Eventually recognized by all. He will be eventually recognized by all. Now some, when he is recognized, it will bring joy and jubilee when he comes. Joy and jubilee. But to others, it's going to bring weeping and gnashing of teeth. It will. All right, we'll leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.